We get to game 3 and 4 tonight. It's the Moose and the Thunderbird with the Springfield club down 2-0, needing both desperately, or at least one, to keep it going till tomorrow night. Hi, everyone. T-Sibs with you. Vibes will be on a little later, and joining me now is Biggy, who is going to help me call the game tonight. The Manitoba Moose, as we said, closing the show last night, up 2-0, and Biggs, I tell you what, maybe one of the biggest shocks we've seen in playoffs so far. I don't think it was really a big shock when the Heat was able to sweep the Bears last season, but I think this is a bit shocking for what Manitoba has been able to do in the playoffs in general. And now taking the first two in this series, I don't know if anyone would have anticipated that, especially with the Vibes, Brian and Bear line, as good as they are. Again, going up against one of their top lines in the first two games, coming away with 2 victories and up 2-0 at this point. What a shock, really.
With the sweep versus the Bears, and it was interesting because, well, it wasn't as interesting as this series because they put out their top line 2 games in a row, and then the third and then second. Here you have your third line that took the 2 first games, so it's really a little interesting. It's almost as if the Moose wanted to give Springfield, the advantage early, and tides turned in their favor, and the T-Birds are in quite a tough spot now.
And the lineups, of course, Vibes had his out right away. He put his out for a couple of games worth right away, and wanted to make sure that everyone knew that he was going to post him immediately. And so he has done that, and we'll see if everyone makes it tonight, because that's always an issue. Amazingly enough, even in playoff games, always an issue whether or not everyone's going to be there for the game. If there's any issues this time of the season in the summer with guys going away for a day, coming back in time, never fun to try and get through the playoffs in the last part of August, and certainly always a bit of a challenge. Not much of a problem that you guys dealt with last season, though. Your guys made sure you made the time and were there. It seems to be a little more difficult this season, and in the playoffs, we've seen plenty of ECUs, probably more than I've ever seen in a playoff so far.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you get from the summer season, really. I don't think it's anything it's the combination of the summer season and also the end of the game, Mm-hmm. Not only do people lose interest in the game as the seasons go on, but that combined with people want to get out and enjoy the sun.
So as we have the lineups now, we'll just double check the 9:30 lineups. We've got still have Sessman, Timmy, and Mafia on forward, Cholesterol Bomb and CJD, the Professor, on D with Domi in net tonight for the first time in the series. On the other side for the Thunderbird, Al the Wall, Stanley's Cup, and MLN make up the front line. Ice Block and Jay Bask back on defense, and Bacon Wave in net tonight again. And certainly, Stanley and MLN have had some good success in this playoff, and but they're still going up against a pretty formidable team. Not a lineup that we hear an awful lot about, but it is a pretty damn solid lineup. Obviously, we know Mafia, but Timmy and Sessman have been solid all season long, and the playoffs have been no different. Again, another good forward line that the Thunderbirds are going to have to try and contain.
Yeah, this line is it's no joke. I mean, you have great chemistry with these 3 players, and Timmy and Sessman have been playing together for a long time. It's almost as if they could close their eyes and play together. And then you got Mafia Man, who's gonna, he's one of the most creative players on the ice. So the Thunderbirds are throwing out what it looks like their top lines tonight for both games. So really, they have the chance to not only, win 2 games, but they get to work off momentum. So if they win this first game, they're looking good for the second one too. So this first game is, it's huge, not only for the lack of stress for the second game, but, you wanna build that momentum, and you wanna shut down a line. You wanna start with that first win.
And that second game right now scheduled as we speak. It is again same front line with Wall, Stanley, and MLN up front. Kepler and Ajax will play defense, and Bacon and net for Springfield. Meanwhile, Moose will turn to the Nylander, Gohawks, and Lewis line, along with Pitcher and Beal back on D, and Domi in net again for game number 4. So Thunderbirds, if these lineups stay true, the Thunderbirds desperately need a game 3. I mean, certainly it's possible to come back 4 straight. We saw San Jose do that against a very tough Ontario team, but if you have to go up against Nylander, Gohawks, and Lewis in game 4, and you're down 3-0, that's going to be an incredibly tall task to have to deal with.
Yeah, if you want to lose one of these games tonight, it's not the first game. Forget the fact that you have to go into a game 4 down 3-0. You have to play one hell of a lineup. Probably the Moose's top lineup, the hottest lineup. And you don't want to have to play that line when all the pressure's on. So there's a lot of pressure in this first game, and you, even if you come out with 1 win, 1 loss, you don't want to you're trying to get out of this potential sweep here. Obviously the T-Birds want 2 wins tonight, but if they focus on 1 game at a time, who knows what can happen tonight.
What are we seeing in the first 2 games that really stands out to you? It's funny. I've gone back and looked at these games, and it's pretty much the same way I saw it the first time. Both teams are playing relatively well defensively. It really wound up being in both cases, in both games, a case of a mistake, a puck popping out, and a team taking advantage of it. We're seemingly down to the point in the playoffs where you would expect that to happen, because you've got 2 very good teams who aren't going to make huge mistakes. They're going to have things happen to them where it's just an unfortunate bounce of the puck, and it's going to be it's going to be an opportunity that happens. And I think we've seen 2 pretty good disciplined teams to this point. Awfully tough to pin anything else on what's going on in the series, and so far it seems like everything's fallen the Moose's way at the right time, really.
Well, I think the key in these games is going to be, I have to give credit to the Moose's third line. They're definitely the most defensive line, and they've been, and their strategy comes out from playing defense. But the other 2 Moose lines, their defense comes from puck control in the offensive zone. And I think if the Thunderbirds can capitalize on minimizing the cycling of the Moose tonight and get quick, effective breakouts and not let the Moose trap, you might see this forward line play some classic tic-tac-toe on the rush and pop some goals in on the Moose. And I know I did say that we were talking the 2 potential worst defenders for the Moose in the past 2 games, but I mean, realistically, I'm sure these lines are a little more aggressive, so there might be ways to get behind their defense, and it might be a lot easier, especially for the top line on Springfield. Well,
Vibes has joined us on the broadcast now, and we'll bring him in to talk a little bit about how everything's going. You're all set for game number 3 now? Everyone's showing up?
Yeah, a little bit of availability problems, and people not wanting to play, but I think we'll ultimately be okay. Pretty big one, actually, but I mean, I guess you guys can wait and watch the game and see what happens.
Yeah, that's like we're saying, it's never fun. Obviously, one of the things Big said is that you want things go on this time of the year. Guys want to take time off, and so it's always a little bit tough. Obviously, you know that better than anybody this season with ECUs. But we've seen a lot of them in the playoffs, and you've had to deal with your fair share of them. And the last series could have been incredibly disastrous with some of the things that were going on, and somehow you guys have been able to keep it together.
Yeah, it's kind of been a steady theme for us here throughout the entire season and even through the playoffs. Availability has been really shaky at times. It's been better at other times, but ultimately it's always been kind of tough. Whether it be guys who just can't make it because of obligations or because of this or because of that, or now there is. I mean, there's definitely a little bit of inner conflict amongst our team, and that forfeit back in the previous series did not help that at all. There were a few guys who felt strongly in one direction and a few guys who felt strongly in another. So there are some guys who are not seeing eye to eye. It's been tough. It's been a struggle all season long, in the regular season, and it's been a struggle through the playoffs too.
Yeah, just it's hard to believe. And look, we again, season 5 here. We've seen the first few. Even the first season didn't have such chaotic times during the playoffs. We've seen teams where, in that finals where, everyone's available. Everyone's talking in the shout box. Everyone is like cheering each other on. Guys were readily available if needed. Even TCs were on call and ready to go in a few of these series and played an important part. And it's amazing how in the finals you're up 2-0 and you're still struggling to get guys to be motivated enough to be out there and play despite, some of the things that might happen. And they may have, certainly may have a point for their viewpoints, but it's game time now. You just have to put it aside and play.
Yeah, I mean, that is, what you would hope for. You want a team to just say, listen, let's just get this done, and if so be it, we never have to talk to each other ever again. And just come together for one common goal. And for the most part, we have. But there has been that sort of. And you know what? I can't blame the people who feel that way, because honestly, I feel that way too when you get right down to it about that forfeit did not help. Like, let's just be honest. It did not help. I think we would have beat them anyway. So all it really did was cause a little bit of, maybe irreparable damage, so to speak. But, we've kind of like everything else that's been thrown our way, we've found a way to get around it somehow, and hopefully we can get around this too.
Well, hopefully we get this game going soon, and hopefully the series is over soon, because I'm losing my voice as we speak. I'm gonna need your help there, Biggs.
I tell you what, Vibes, do you think you're more prepared coming through the playoffs because of the amount of ECUs you guys had? You talked about in the trade deadline show about how all you were really looking for was ECUs, and I think the way I see it is you guys have had so many games with ECUs. Not only are you're always ready for someone to not be available or whatnot. Your ECUs are active, so they're seeing the ice more, so they're around, knowing that they'll be called up more often, and your players are kind of used to playing with some of the TCs anyways. So do you think your team comes out on top for an advantage in any ECU matchup?
Maybe that's a possibility. I mean, I know that it's kind of been like an expected thing for me. So, like, to be honest with you, even with this situation tonight, I'm not like super panicked. I would say my team's a little bit more panicked than I am, which actually kind of does worry me a little bit. But I'm personally not really feeling scrambly. I already have the ECUs ready to go. I mean, I went out and I made sure that I contacted each and every single ECU before this playoff even started. Not only do I have them in an LG team chat, but I have them on PSN and Skype as well in an ECU chat. So, I mean, I'm in full, steady contact with all of them, and they all know that they're a part of this team, and there's no real alienation factor. I've had a lot of ECUs who've been following the games and staying completely up to date with the games and taking stock in the team and how we're doing. And they understand that they're a part of this team, and anyone who doesn't is definitely at a fault. Maybe we do have an advantage, and just kind of try to keep on chugging.
So that's one of the negative things, that happened to you all season long, was having to use your TC roster a lot. But now it's paying dividends because these guys know you'll go to them, and they know the team has had issues with it. They know to be available because you've used a lot of them. And wow, what was a pain in the ass the entire season now is actually incredibly helpful.
Yeah, I guess you can kind of say that. It's funny how that happens. The truth of the matter is that I trust my ECUs. I have a lot of really good ECUs, and I trust them. And I think they understand, and they know that I trust them. And, I guess in a perfect world, you want your full roster there. Who wouldn't? But, to have that whoopsie, sort of button, that oh shit button, with some really valuable ECUs ready and willing to go, it's definitely a benefit, and a lot of these guys, I went out, specifically and targeted them and got them throughout the course of the season. A lot of these guys did not start with the team, but they found themselves on other teams' training camp rosters. So I made it my business to go out and get them, and should we need them, they're there, and that's definitely an asset.
Well, we're getting ready here. I think I saw your guys, at least for a second or two, starting to get into the dressing room, but that feed has stopped. So as soon as we get a feed of anybody, of either team, getting things going, we'll get that for you as soon as possible. But game is not started yet. Still waiting on some things. Vibes will let us know if anything is changing, and hopefully Ice Block will be able to key me into if he's got any update on his end. But so far we are still waiting for things to gather. And again, I like to. I think it's always good to have a little time in between nights, and you've had almost a full 24 hours now to think about the first two games, and it again, I think, is a bit surprising to anybody who's well versed in this league to have seen what you guys did to get here, and the idea that you're up 2-0 on Springfield at this point is a little surprising. Is it, even having some time to think about it, is it at all a surprise to you, or is it a little bit shocking, but you feel like your team is good enough to do this?
You know what? I don't know if I would say surprised. Really happy is something I could say. Feeling really fortunate to be up 2-0 with using only my line so far. It kind of like Biggie said, going back to the last series. He felt like this series coming up, which is the one we're in now, that my line had probably the best chance of winning a game or two. And, I totally agreed with them. I obviously didn't really lead on to it because I don't want to give away what I'm thinking. But, I totally agreed with them. And it showed to be the truth, because kind of like to echo what Bear said yesterday on the pregame, we have been going against the best lines, or at least the second best lines all playoffs. And not to take anything away from the T-Birds, but even their top line is maybe a second or third line on a lot of other teams. Mm-hmm. So they're a team full of second and third lines. Let's just be honest. But that doesn't mean that they haven't found a way to win, because they have, and they can beat anybody. They can beat us. They can turn this thing around. But not to pivot too much from what we were saying. It's I don't know how shocked or surprised I am, but definitely happy, and just feeling like I've been doing my job as a manager all season, and I think I've been a really, really big asset to my team as a manager all season long. As a player, not super much. Not a really, really, really valuable asset. But I feel like finally I stepped up as a player in these first 2 games, and I was an instrumental part in getting us a 2-0 victory, a 2-0 lead, and Bear and Brian as well, and NJ and Killa, and we went in there and we gave ourselves a huge head start. So hopefully these guys can close it out.
Well, right now we're going to switch over to the feed from CJD, and we're going to take a look at what apparently are a few changes in the lineup, at least at this point. And you see John Bond 5'10" at the right D position for Manitoba. So I'm assuming Beal having some issues at this point, or obviously
it would have been for C-bomb, cholesterol bomb at the left D, but obviously there's no restriction on what side of the defense that you can play, so he'll be subbing in for C-bomb, but he'll be going to right D, and CJ will be going to the left D.
Okay. So that's an interesting change up there, and we will. How does that switch for CJ moving to the other side? Is he comfortable over there?
Probably likes the left D a little bit better.
Okay.
So it's I don't know. Well, maybe not. Maybe he likes right D better. I don't know. It's kind of 50-50. He feels comfortable on either side, really.
You've also got Playmaker at center now in place of Timmy.
Yep.
So, and Playmaker certainly has plenty of experience in this league. So, certainly not somebody who is a newcomer. If you've been around for a while, you know his name, and certainly not the biggest issue in the world, as you see the room backing out here. So we'll have to wait for them to start this up again, but. Hopefully we get this game underway very soon. And, again, still waiting for it to start up here. But we are obviously looking at some changes here. And how do you – I mean, obviously you're John Bond's played one playoff game for you. He was in the 7-0 blowout, the final game of the series with the Wild, his last game – in the playoffs for you, and in the regular season, a 4-0 shutout in that game against Cleveland. So, as an ECU, he's played twice for you, and has been part of 2 shutouts against 2 very good teams.
Yeah, he's been really good, and he has a lot of chemistry with CJ, so he's been good. I don't feel like I lose much going from C-bomb to him. I feel like it's a pretty, even swap. So, he slots in, and hopefully he'll get it done.
And we are still having some issues getting everyone in. I think Mafia had a little bit of an issue, so we'll have to wait a little bit longer for this to start up.
Did you say, sorry, what was the defense in this game? John Bond?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
John Bond 5'10".
He already played 2 games in the playoffs?
No, he's played 1 in the playoffs, 1 in regular season.
Okay.
Oh, come on, Biggie. You know I'm not going to make a mistake like that. Come on, give me a little bit of credit.
I was just checking. I doing my due diligence.
And, came away in that one with a goal, actually, in that game, and a +3, as the entire team came away with a +3 in that game against Cleveland. So, stepping right in his first game back on July 25th. He's been with Kitchener in the OHL, and his numbers there in the regular season, not great, but I don't think Kitchener had done incredibly well. So, certainly somebody who's gotten his action down there, has played 22 games with them in the regular season. And they got into the playoffs, but he lost 2 right away there. So, again, another issue with the center not making it in for that one, Playmakers. So, this will start again. And I think we're dealing with some of the West Coast issue again for at least the Thunderbirds. I know they have a few guys who are West Coast, so we still, the stupid game still gives us some fits when it comes to what coast you're on and who's hosting.
Yeah, I think there's an issue with connecting to MLN's connection, so they should probably just switch hosts because there won't be a game if MLN's the host, so he needs to switch.
I'm surprised that you guys are going to let Playmaker play center and not, although Mafia wasn't the best center, I would rather have him at a center position than Playmaker. I've had bad experiences personally with playing with Playmaker in any games, so it's going to be interesting to see him play. Although you are right, Sibs, with him being, around league and experience, but I would personally see it as a negative thing. And if I were the TBirds, I wouldn't take this game lightly because of the two ECUs, but I would take it as a, your chances just went up. Let's seize this opportunity.
Playmaker 4-3 this season as an ECU for the Moose. 5 goals, 4 assists, a plus-minus of 0. So certainly has done fairly well, contributed to this team. His last regular season with a decent amount of starts in the AHL was season 3 for Chicago, where he went 11-4-2, 25 goals, 18 assists, a plus 14. So, and he's been here since season 1. So, certainly a guy who's got some experience in this league, and we'll see how that pays dividends for them. But this game about to get underway. We are thankful to CJD for the feed. There won't be any. There is a party feed going on, so we're just going to be calling the game here. Hopefully that'll be enough for you folks. And want to thank Brian for streaming the last 2 games with some great sound effects to help with the atmosphere of what we were watching. It really lended to making it even more exciting. But this is exciting enough for Springfield, and they're going to have to back out of this game again. This is exciting enough for Springfield since they really do need a win, and we were certainly talking about it earlier on, Biggs, with the Go Hawks, Nylander, Louis line going later on in Game 4. If that holds true, if you're the Thunderbirds and you want to stay alive tonight, you have to win this one because Game 4 is going to be hellish if you're down 3-0.
Yeah, this is a must-win. If the Thunderbirds aren't under that impression, they don't even deserve to be in this series. They must all be well aware that this is a must-win game.
Now, my interactions with Ice Block and the folks on that team is interesting because they're not panicking. They're not throwing in the towel. They're not like going through the motions. They they understand how well that Manitoba's played in the first 2 games, how things, could have gone the other way. They could have come away maybe with a 1-1 after the first 2. They know they're close. They're not getting totally outplayed. They're just needing to be a little bit sharper, and I think that's incredibly important for them to have that kind of mindset. Otherwise, what's the point of even continuing if you don't feel like you have a chance? And the more they have to wait on this game, the tougher it's going to be for a bunch of nervous thumbs on the Springfield side. But they've been pretty good about being positive on this. So I give them credit for not cashing it in just yet and being ready to being ready to play these games every night.
Yeah, you do got to give them credit. These guys have definitely had the most spirit of any other team. I'd say in the definitely in the shout box and whatnot. Their team aura is definitely well presented, and if any team has gotten anywhere because of that, it's these guys.
Well, looks like we're hopefully going to get this going. CJ is now readied up. Hopefully the Moose will ready up and we'll get this going. And knock on wood, we don't have any major lag issues on this first game.
Well, what's going on right now is that my guys are having trouble connecting, and the TBirds can't win without MLN's connection. So they're being obstinate in him being the host.
Unfortunately, there's nothing specific in the rules that says if you try 3 times and you can't connect, someone else on the team has to host. And I think that may be something that should be considered for next season. We'll get this game underway now as you see Playmaker and Stanley facing off.
So CJD plays an Enforcer D-man. Is that what I saw?
Yeah, yep.
If there's any position that can play Enforcer, I'll give it to the D-man.
Manitoba trying to control and puck in front, but a penalty's being called now, and the Moose will start out on the power play here. Puck being tied up. There's Mafia. He gets a shot deflected off or it's knocked off his stick. And again, dangerous play in front. And now Springfield able to clear out on net, and it slips past and goes in. Oh my, that was an incredibly tough situation. Domi, I'm not sure what happened there. He looked like he was in position, and it looked like it just bounced off his stick. Weird goal. It's like I believe they gave Stanley's Cup credit for that. And back in the zone again, Springfield, and a good quick snapshot, and again, another goal. And yeah, this one going to out of the wall. Second goal of the game, and quickly Springfield ahead. 2-0.
2-0 because of a connection.
How much of this is going to play a part in the game? And, the connection's part of it too. But, your guys also are, thinking about that as well. It can't help. Puck in front, opportunity there, but cover it up.
This is an example of how is Domi going to react. Is he going to implode? Is he going to be a negative influence on these guys, or is he going to step it up?
Good opportunity there, but a shot by Sussman rings off the post. Penalty again, now a 5-on-3 for the Moose for the next minute and 21. Back to John Bond, throws it around the boards. Sussman on the other side. Now Mafia tries to get it in front for Sussman, tipped away by Basket, looked like, and now Springfield will bring it out. CJ up to Mafia. Trying to control, and a good quick pass, and Sussman, a good low backhander, knocks it in. And now 2-1, the Moose get on the board.
Already you can tell the difference in the atmosphere of these games compared to the first two, eh? 2-1, we're not even 5 minutes in the game here.
Back in the zone again, Mafia trying to control. Puck tipped off his stick and starting the other way. Flipped around. CJ's there to knock it over to John. His pass out is intercepted. Now, quick shot blocked by CJ in front, but nobody there for Springfield. And now coming back with as the Moose gets knocked off the stick of John. Now in front, Mafia trying to stop it, and Domi right in the center of the net. Quick, unexpected shot makes the save. Play in front again, Domi right there in the middle, able to stop it. Some better chances for Springfield now coming. Fought for and finally won by Playmaker. And The puck just gets out of the zone, almost intercepted and kept in, but it's offside. Now Mafia almost with an intercept. T-Birds trying to maneuver. Puck is still loose at the blue line. And Springfield trying to regroup. Start out again. Puck is slung down the ice. This should be an icing call. Power play going to come up now for the Moose as a penalty being called on Al the Wall. He's going to go off for 2, and now another power play for the Moose. John Mafia controls on the right. Shot blocked off. Good play back on defense. Ice block, whips it around, can't get it out, kept in. And now Playmaker can't get a shot off. Puck is flipped over the glass, and that's going to be another penalty. And now a 5-on-3 again for the Moose.
That's the third 5-on-3 they've had in the first period, first 10 minutes of the period.
Hard to believe only half the period's over. We've seen a lot of action already. Behind the net, cleared out by Ice Block. And now Springfield trying to move it up, can't control it. Sussman has it. Can't find Mafia. Goes wide, cleared out again. 10 seconds on the 5-on-3. And not able to bring it in. John Bond gets it knocked off. Still a one-man advantage for the next 30 seconds, and Mafia brings it up. Couple of guys trailing, but still holding on to it. John gets tripped. There'll be another penalty coming up here. And as soon as the player comes out, there'll be another one going back in for Springfield. Springfield wins the faceoff and finally gets it out of the zone. And the Moose control. Mafia. Little dangling, goes into the corner, picked up by Sussman, gets it over to Mafia. In front for Playmaker. He had the net open on that side, on that short side, but went far. And the save made by Bacon.
If Timmy's was playing, he would have buried that right there.
Sussman trying to control. He loses the puck. And now Springfield back the other way. Snapshot glove save by Domi, and he'll hold. Under 6 minutes now in the first period. Power play almost over for the Moose. Springfield has an opportunity. Shot is blocked in front. John Bond starts out with it. Tries to flip it in. It gets blocked off. And a quick pass up to Wall. He's trying to get a shot, but coming back on defense nicely. Playmaker and Sussman to help out. And puck is cleared out now. It'll be an icing, but good defensive play coming back to help out. Puck tied up. It goes back to the point, and Ice Block can't get a stick on it. He loses it. Now gets it back to bring it into the zone. Flips one on net. Blocked by John. He's having trouble controlling it. Getting played a little bit by Wall, but now Beck comes out with it. Mafia. Knocked off his stick by Bask. Puck goes in the corner. Good check there. Nice check by John to knock his player off, and a shot quick on net is saved by Domi. Face-off won by the Moose. They control. Good snapshot. Good quick corner snapshot. And again, Al with another goal in this one. And it is a 3-1 lead for the Springfield Thunderbird, trying to hold on here. Under a minute, under 30 seconds now. And again, they control Springfield. Wall again trying to find some room, a little bit of room to sneak one past, and the puck is held on with 5.3 left to go. And another quick shot, and within a couple of seconds left, another quick goal. As MLN puts one in, it is now 4-1. It's starting to get away a little bit from the Moose.
I wonder, Vibes mentioned connection issues.
Sure.
And, these players don't really look like they're being affected so much by their connection. It might be just an excuse. It might be a reality, but I mean, every team at some point or another has dealt with these connection issues, and you got to make adjustments sometimes. But if Domi isn't experiencing any connection issues and Vibes was here, only thing I'd want to say to him would be Archmagus.
Yeah, a couple of them had, you could say maybe he didn't get over quickly enough, but I just don't think that's the case. I think this is more about making mistakes. Not sure that first goal, especially by Domi, was tough. Second period has started up, and with it, the Springfield Thunderbirds coming back into the zone. Icing is the call, though, and the Moose will get a chance to start back out. Playmaker gets it back to the point. John trying to get it to Mafia, but he can't control it, and now the Thunderbirds will start out with it. Flipped in, blocked off. Mafia trying to find Sussman breaking, but it gets intercepted by Basque, and now puck is flipped back in. It'll be an icing on the Moose, and face off deep in their zone. Puck in front, loose, and picked up by John Bon. He'll start the other way. Intercepted. Good defensive play by the Thunderbirds again. Good quick pass up front. Wall had it, throws it over to the other side. Looked like MLN had an opportunity to put it over the net. Now the puck is loose and taken again by Professor, and it is still being fought for at the red line. Mafia has it now. Kept in nicely. Good quick shot by CJ. Mafia looking to get somebody in front. Playmaker not quite where he needed to be to make a play on it, and so now it's flipped back out. There's some of that chemistry here now, Biggs, where Playmaker maybe not used to playing with Mafia.
Yeah. I just think it almost looks like Playmaker just isn't used to playing maybe the center role. He seems too low at times and then too high when he needs to be lower. I could be extremely critical on his play, but we'll just keep it as simple as, center's the most crucial position on the ice, I would say, and it's tough to put someone as an ECU there.
Sorry about the feed, having a little issue there, but now we're back. We're hitting the halfway point here of this game, midway through the second period, and Springfield up 4-1 in this one. Now coming back the other way, MLN flips one on net. Good save. Good glove save by Domi there. Stanley able to tie up. MLN trying to control it. Penalty coming up now. Again on Springfield. Another opportunity on the power play for the Moose.
This is the fourth 5-on-3 this game, and yet they're down 1-4.
Another, as you say, another 5-on-3 now as we see it. With plenty of time on this one. Moose would like to score here to try and cut it a little bit before this period ends. Plenty of time left to do it. Mafia looking to make a play there. Got it in front to Sussman, but he could not connect completely on it. And Springfield looking to clear it out, having some trouble. Flips it behind the net. Like Lidstrom there. And now Mafia has it. Sorry, I look like Ice Block, who is playing as Lidstrom. Mafia gets it up again. Shot goes past the blocker's side. Now finally cleared out by Wall. 5-on-3 is about to be over. Pass in front, nobody there, and a good quick pass as it looked like Bask might have been able to get that one as he came out of the box, but he could not get a stick on it. And now back the other way. Offside warning, and so Springfield will pick it up and take their time getting out. MLN. Pass is deflected and blocked. ML fighting hard for this one. And now Wall has it. Tries to get it in front for Stanley, but can't get him. Another penalty coming up. Another trip. And again, another power play for the Moose.
Jesus. 5 on threes.
And
Let's
another
go, Moose.
flip over the glass. Somebody doesn't know how to flip it down the ice. Having some serious problems tonight.
You know, the Thunderbirds got to consider themselves really lucky for being on 5 on threes and scoring half their goals on the penalty kill on top of that.
As you see now, Ice Block gets it out of the zone. CJ trying to work it back in. Gets it over to Mafia. Nice pass. Mafia trying to set up playmaker, but a good defensive play in the middle of the slot stops that. Wall dumps it in. Trying to regroup now. Mafia brings it up on the right side as we're down to the last few seconds of the 5 on 3. And Mafia trying to maneuver there, but good play by Ice Block, and Bacon able to cover up. Ice tries to clear it out. Pushed out of the zone by Springfield, and now coming back is Mafia. Tries to get it to Sussman. He was a little bit too advanced in the slot. Gets knocked off the puck, and now Springfield the other way as we get down to the last 30 seconds of the second period. One more try, Mafia. Sussman. Good quick shot on net. Mafia could not get a rebound there, and the second period will end with Springfield up 4-1 after this.
You know, if the Moose want to score some goals, what they got to do here is they got to step up offensively. They're forcing a lot of pucks and taking very low percentage shots wide. Also, I find Mafia Man carrying the puck a lot, and I don't blame him because this line is very they don't have the chemistry that they should.
Right.
Their right D's in ECU, their centers in ECU, and thing is Sussman feeds off a lot of Timmy's. A lot of his, skill comes from his chemistry with Timmy, so it also hinders Sussman a lot. So I can understand why they're putting a lot of pressure on Mafia Man to carry the puck. But if they start moving the puck around, especially on these 5 on 3s, they need shots from the point, and they need to move the puck and get that triangle moving and not, one man carrying the puck.
Third period starting up now. Face-off won by the Moose, and so they will start up. Mafia in front, but he's offside. Tried to jump the play a little bit. Just a hair offside. Puck tied up, and now Springfield coming back the other way. ML flips one on net. Glove saved by Domi. Now if I'm Springfield, you want to get it deep, you might as well flip pucks on the net at this point. You never know what could happen. Considering what Domi has done tonight, it's certainly a good option. Ice Block back to the point, gets one on. Another good quick shot in front. An open net there for ML, but he could not connect, puts it wide. And now again in front of the net with the puck, gets knocked behind the net. Playmaker trying to get it out, but he can't. But now, fortunately, Ice Block bounces it off his own player, and it gets out. Mafia with the good steal. He gets tripped. Another penalty coming up. This time it's Ice Block going off for a trip. And one of the things that was a strong suit in the regular season for this Manitoba team is just hasn't happened, and that's the power play. Offside there on that one, so the faceoff will be just outside the Moose zone. But, the Moose had done well in the regular season on the power play, done well, so far in some of their attempts in the playoffs. But just struggling big time to take advantage of these 5-on-3s.
You know, this Thunderbird line really has to smarten up defensively, though, because if they take this many penalties next game, we're looking at a blowout. You're not gonna shut down the other line if all players are there with 5-on-3s.
Puck flipped in, but CJ looking to start things again. Power play is about to expire, and Springfield kills off another one as the teams are even. Mafia controls. He gets tripped. Another penalty coming up.
They've had 11 power plays tonight.
Stanley's Cup heading off. It's almost like you're watching a drop where guys are purposely tripping people. I mean, if you didn't know any better, you wouldn't think guys would do that in a Cup final game, but it's been bad. Shot on net, good glove save by Domi, sends it over the glass.
With the exception of a lot of the dump plays, I mean, some of the trip plays have been good trips. You know when you take a good penalty,
sure.
It's a few of them not as good, but I mean, there's their reward right there.
You know what? There we go, and a shot in front and tipped in. Playmaker able to get a stick on the puck. Mafia gets it in front, and Playmaker able to put it home. Now it's a 4-2 game. It's still manageable with 12 minutes left to go. Springfield now coming in with it. Another opportunity. Defense has tightened up a little bit now for the Moose. They've played a lot better since that fourth goal, and certainly haven't given the Springfield too many opportunities at this point. Mafia just being hounded by everyone. Now, a lot of these trips are coming against Mafia, so it's almost seems like, and Mafia now is going to get called for a trip. It almost seems like they are purposely tripping Mafia and rather deal with a penalty than have him have a great opportunity. And a good quick shot there, but Domi able to make the glove save, and he seems to have settled down as well. Playmaker not able to win that one. Puck in front. Chance where Wall needed to get a shot off quicker but could not. Springfield keeps it in.
In the first minute of Springfield's first power play, it looked better than the 12 power plays that the Moose have had.
You're not off. You're not off by this. And Springfield bringing it back in. Pass in front. Some good passes in the slot that haven't quite connected, and some good plays by the Moose to help kill it off. 30 seconds left in this power play. Desperately needing a kill. Now back the other way Springfield comes. ML gets it in front. Pass is blocked off. John Bond. Good play there on that one. Now wrap around, but ML, he can't connect, but Wall is able to slam it home. And now a 5-3 lead, a 5-2 lead, by the Thunderbirds, and a really, really tall task right now that is on the verge of not happening.
This game's over.
Connection issues possibly, and certainly personnel definitely played into this one.
You never know. I mean, the Moose might get a power play here and score.
Yeah, right.
Play in front. Good play by, looked like Ice Block getting an opportunity in front there. And now Wall, another opportunity. Domi just getting peppered. Wall with another wraparound attempt. Can't connect. And now Springfield just controlling the play. Back to the point. Shot. Domi on it. And he'll hold. Good shot by Bass. But Domi was covering that corner and able to hold on. Bit of a 180 from what we saw the last couple of days, but TBirds are hosting, and they are getting some of their players who have been a little hotter. ML and Stanley have been playing incredibly well lately. And it looks like Wall is absolutely fits in well with those guys. Shot blocked. Another shot off of a deflection, a tip of the stick, but Bacon right there to make the glove save. We're under a minute now. Third period. Looks like Springfield will at least pull one game out and make this go to at least a game 5 tomorrow for sure.
Pass.
Pass up to Mafia. That one's onside. Breakaway, and Mafia slams it home. A timeout being called, and maybe they think this is the opportunity to, with enough enough plays, they have a shot here.
I mean, what happened last series, with 2.2 seconds left, who knows what can happen in this game?
Yeah, you're gonna need to cut those fractions up a lot for them to have a really good shot. But something to say about being able to at least put up a good showing towards the end. But right now, it's still all Springfield, unless the Moose can pull off a miracle here. They've done it before. Face-off controlled by Springfield, though. And Mafia definitely looking to spring when he can. But Springfield has it in the zone. Pass in front, broken up. And now Sussman gets it up to Mafia. 2 men back to defend him. Now a third shows up. Mafia still fighting for the puck. Can't come away with it. 20 seconds left to go. Now he steals it again. Mafia looking for something in front. Does not go to the point. Now gets it tipped off his stick and it's dumped out. 10 seconds left to go. And a good quick shot on net as Springfield just trying to kick it back into the zone. And this one is over. And icing with 1 second left to go. But Springfield will hold on to this game and win it at least by a score of 5-3 here as we get the last face-off going. And it is a 5-3 final. And Springfield stays alive in this series and brings it to 2-1. And Vibes hasn't had an awful lot to say, but I don't know if you've talked to your guys in between periods, Vibes, but they cannot be happy about how things turned out and how the whole thing started off to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those games where it just went bad really quick. It went really bad really quick. And, it's 2-1, and, like I've been telling them the entire time, next thing you know, this team will be right back in it. As far as the blame goes, you know what I mean? When a team wins, the team wins. That's just the bottom line, you know what I mean? And regardless of how they did it, right? And series is 2-1, so now we go back into game 4 and try and go up 3-1. Unfortunately, we couldn't pull off the Stockton sweep, but maybe we get it done in the next few.
Well, obviously a very interesting game, and we talked a little bit about everything that was going on before this game got going. A lot of stops and starts, and you hate seeing that happen, but just really not a good situation. Al the Wall, as you see, 3 goals. He had the hat trick in this game, and had a heck of a game where he played incredibly well. 20 shots for Springfield in this game. And, said 0 for 1 on their power plays. I didn't catch how many power plays the Moose had. Did you see that, Biggs?
I think it was 12, if not 13. But that's just based off, I'm not basing that off what I saw. I'm basing that off what I remember.
Tough one there, Vibes, and I'm sure you're going to want to, or maybe you don't want to go talk to you guys about this game, but one to try and forget and get past quickly.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you have, 93 power plays we had or something, and you don't score, it's never a good thing. But I mean, if I was going to look for reasons as to why the T-Birds were able to win this game, it would probably be connections, ECUs getting up early, and then Mafia trying to have to, feel like he had to try and do everything all by himself. And once that started, it was just it was game over.
Again, tough one here for the Moose, and the trials and tribulations of your team. It's like a soap opera; it just never ends. And again, you're having to deal with a lot of stuff before this game ever starts. The fact that you're able to put out a team certainly is credit to you and to the ECUs who showed up to play tonight. But man, you could see, and Biggs and I were talking about it, you could see the chemistry just not there. I mean, and it's hard to have that. We've talked about it in other series. It's incredibly tough to get that if you can't, all of a sudden you're thrown into the finals game with guys you're not used to playing with.
Yeah, it's never an easy thing, and it totally fucked up the flow of the line and the team, and I don't know how much it seems like everyone's looking for a reason to blame the Moose, and I guess I kind of am too, but maybe we should just credit the T-Birds with a good win.
I mean, they were obviously very consistent. They consistent with the penalties for sure, and did a hell of a job killing them off. I mean, just incredible with that many 5-on-3 opportunities that they continued to kill them off. And usually, if you give somebody like Mafia that kind of opportunity to have a chance to get that many odd man opportunities and not having the middle clog so much, usually he connects. But they did a heck of a job killing all those penalties off. And, you certainly saw this in the second half of this game. Mafia gets to a point where he feels like, all right, nothing has worked to this point. I've got to just try to do some of these things on my own. And, to his credit, he did wind up keeping pucks in the zone, trying to get himself started out early. That breakaway goal for sure was a big play. And of course, the pass in front that was finally slammed home by Playmaker. He got an assist on that one. He had a couple of assists tonight, Mafia, so played as well of a game as he could, but it felt like they were swarming him a bit. And I know Gohawks maybe jokingly said it in the shot box earlier, but it may be part of the plan is just you could have to key on somebody and swarm them. With this line tonight with Mafia and Sussman and Playmaker, you can get away with it. Go Hawks, Nylander. I don't know if you can get away with just swarming one guy in that line.
No, you're not going to be able to get away with that. I mean, Mafia, like I said, was the only one really controlling the puck. A lot of the other players were unreliable with giveaways and just not spacing it out properly or just losing the puck one-on-one versus their man. And I could see Mafia's frustration. But if this Thunderbird line plays the exact same, they're going to be in trouble. You can't go 12. Like I said before, you can't take 12 penalties and expect to win 5-2 in this next game. But we're also looking at a new set of defensemen. So I don't know how many of those penalties last game were on the D, so that might be a little good mix-up for this game.
What is going to be your situation in this game, Vibes? Obviously, you've got a couple of guys who may or may not be playing in this one. So it's I just have to wonder how that's going to play out if you're having any other issues in this one.
Well, my outlook going into this game is stay the fuck out of the party chat and just let them do their thing. I feel like they know what's got to be done, and I feel like we have, at the end of the day, in a worst case scenario, I feel like we have 3 chances here to get 1 win. And then that forces a game 7, and I would hope that game 7 lineup will be able to beat this team. But little worried about that too because I don't know. It seems like CJ is saying that there wasn't much of a connection issue, but I was under the impression that there was, and that that was part of their strategy was to use MLN's connection because he's West Coast and it makes the other team lag. But it seems like that wasn't the case. So I was going to say that maybe in a game 7 that would kind of come into play. I don't know. We have 3 chances to win a game. It's basically what it comes down to. And maybe if Hawks wins here, then we have 2 chances to win 1 game. So still like our chances. I'm not ready to hit the panic button yet. Even if they tie the series up, it's still they still got a long way to go.
Well, I'm assuming we're going to try and get this one off on time. We'll have to see how if that actually happens, but it's going to be interesting to see whether or not Springfield takes this victory and builds on it, or if that's going to be any kind of an issue with being able to do that against the lineup that you've got on your front line in this one. And earlier, Go Hawks, I know, certainly is looking to play this game and get his chance to do something here. And it's going to be incredibly fun to watch what he's able to do. He's, I'm sure, been chomping at the bit to get in here and play.
Yeah, and having Timmy not show up, it hurts. But I can tell you this: if this team tries to key in on one guy on this next line, they're not going to get very far.
Well, we are at 2-1 now in the series. Game 4 coming up in a little while. Hopefully on time here at 10:30. We'll wait and see how this turns out. But we are going to hang in here and wait for this game to start off. Hopefully we have a stream. Don't know for sure if we do. So we are going to have to be patient and just hope for everything to show up here. What did you like about your effort of your team today?
In this game that I just saw?
Yeah.
The fact that the game's over.
Yeah, not a good one, huh?
If I were to give that lineup any credit, the first thing I'll give them credit for, not even the lineup, the player. I'll give Mafia Man credit for realizing how poorly his teammates were playing and knowing he had to step up. I can't blame... I mean, you can't really blame anyone for that being such a mess. Like I said, Sussman, he's not a high caliber player. He just looks a lot better than he is because he sits beside Timmy's and he knows where to be, and Timmy sets him up. And there's nothing. I'm not saying Sussman isn't skilled or anything, but without Timmy's, he's not even a second liner, I would say. But so that just downgrades his capability in that game. And then you have 2 ECUs that don't necessarily know how to play like the line wants them to, including one of them being Playmaker, which, like I said before, I've had bad experience with him. Not that he's a terrible player, but he's not someone I would want in a game 3 of a Calder Cup final. It's a rough go, and all I could say is kudos to Mafia for putting up a good fight.
Well, the thing is that I've seen Mafia go through this where, he is the guy who winds up being the anchor, and sometimes he winds up having to play with other people. We saw a bit of this last season with the Bears. He gets shuffled around. He doesn't complain, at least not that I see. And maybe Vibes has gotten an earful. I have no idea, but he wants to play. He plays with whoever he needs to play with, and I'm sure he would prefer to have a more stable situation and not lose your line mates on Game 3 of the Cup Finals. But I guess he dealt with it as best he could and able to make an effort on this one and not able to obviously get a successful outcome on this. But a couple of things going on early in this game. We saw that goal that Domi led up, and did he say anything to you, Vibes, about having any issue with that? Was it a glitch? Was anything at all that he might have suggested?
No, I didn't get anything from him. It's unfortunate because, I mean, since before the series even started, I've been, trying to preach to these guys that, the goal is to be ready for shots from anywhere because that's how this team wins. And while that wasn't really a shot, it was still just a weird, clearing attempt that was on goal. And, it ended up going. It's the second time this playoff that it's happened to Domi. So apparently he's susceptible to that sort of a thing. And, he can't be the best goalie in the league if you let shots like that go in. I'll say that much.
Well, that's for sure. I mean, I've had that happen to me a few times. And it really is about concentration. It's about paying attention. You want to sneak up and hit the pad and look forward at the play because you're so far away. But you've got to be ready to get back into position as soon as anything starts heading your way. And just looked like it was on top of him so quickly that he tried to react to it, and maybe just reacting and not letting the goaltender do what the goaltender might do on its own. As soon as you start hitting R2 and you're going down in butterfly, that kind of messes up the whole timing of it all, and that's my guess is probably what happened to him. But yeah, in a finals, it's incredibly tough to let a goal like that go by. And again, you guys are up 2-1, so hopefully it's something that he can come back from and not let it affect him in the next game he plays.
Speaking of being affected in the next game, it's interesting because, like I said, during the pregame, you have now the TBirds who are feeling the momentum. They're feeling a little fired up. They might have not played the best game and might have not, knowing them, they probably are ignoring, the 12 penalties and whatnot. Like, good job, guys. We won a game. We're back in this. So I think their attitude towards this next game is hot and it's ready to go. And opposing that, you have, and I quote CJ the Professor saying, "Yo, the team chat is fucking on fire." So that could really affect the way these guys play, and they're interesting characters. So, I mean, if they're looking at their own teammates play a game like that, are they frustrated with their team, or are they telling their teams like, you guys are bad, watch it how the real kids play? Like, maybe that's what they fuel off of too. I mean, Vive's built such an odd team that we don't really know what's going to come out.
And the like I said, the saga continues. I'm sure Vibes at this point, you want to win this, but you also want the season to be over as soon as possible.
No, I want to win this. To be 2 wins away, I want to win this. Yes, I do want the season to be over, but I want to win this thing. I mean, 2 fucking wins away, where my line won 2 games, and I've left it to where my 2 best lines just need to get 1 fucking win. If we don't win this, I will never play NHL ever again.
Well, we're still waiting for something to go on here, so hopefully we get a stream. Hopefully we get Kepler to do that for us in this game. Meanwhile, again, well, I guess we're going to have to wait to see what happens, but did you consider at least any kind of changes for the next game, considering what happened in this one, or it wasn't even in your mind, Vibes?
For this game coming up?
Yeah.
In terms of, I guess your message, you're talking about the goalie.
Or anything. I don't know if you had any thoughts of changing anything up at all.
No. Listen, I've been a very even keel guy all season long, and I know that's probably not what you guys think of me, considering the fact that I do. I put on a little bit of show for everyone, but I'm very even keel, and I'm not going to get too high, I'm not going to get too low, and we're gonna go with what the plan was and what the plan is, and I'm not going to change anything up. I'm not going to suddenly start sounding the alarm. Even if they do tie the series up, it's still they still need to beat my two top lines, and that's how I feel, and we'll see what happens.
Springfield in their dressing room right now, getting ready to go, and looks like they have sent the invite, just waiting now to see the Moose show up.
What I am going to do different, though, is I'm going to disconnect from this call because you guys are bad luck. So I'm going to leave, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, thanks. Vibes backing out, as well as the Moose goaltender. At least you'll get a little more airtime here now, Biggs.
Yeah, I don't have to listen to Vibes go on and on about his team that's losing. No, I just want to throw this out there if anyone's watching and not paying attention, and if anyone cares. In the NHL right now, Dallas Stars have just won Game 5, so they're going into Game 6, 3-2 up Columbus. Just a random, if anyone's interested in that.
Wow. I've not really taken a look at the NHL much at all this season. Usually I try and check up on it, but I just have not had the time to really pay attention to it. And
you're too busy of a man there, Sid. You don't have time for the NHL.
Apparently not. But yeah, it's the competition up there, from what I understand, has been pretty brutal, and they've been dealing with a lot of the same stuff with ECUs as the AHL has, and I'm guessing probably even a little bit worse, knowing the typical NHL player.
Yeah, well, the nice thing about that, though, and I wish I was an NHL owner, is all you have to do is message up your GM or AGM down in the AHL, and they hook you up. You know what I mean? You don't have to go messaging people individually. So they got the easy end of the stick.
Just another situation where it's definitely harder to do the AHL. You've got people pulling from your team, then you have to go try and find guys in the CHL. It's just it's a nightmare to do. And anybody who wants to manage in the AHL, God bless you, because to me that's the hardest job, not the NHL.
I'd agree with that.
I actually would like to see even more capable and responsible GMs being head up in the AHL, and I quite honestly, I know it's supposed to work as it is in the real league, but I'd like to see the AHL GMs have more ownership of their team instead of having to answer so much to the owner of the NHL team, because the AHL GM, quite frankly, has to do a whole lot more work than anybody else.
Yeah, they do, and they have to put up with a lot more crap. Plus, it's hard to manage TCs. You get harassed by them as well. Some of them aren't even in the CHL. They're just kind of also on a CHL TC, and it's a bit of a mess.
Yeah, just always a bit of a problem, and will always be fun to to see how people do in the AHL managing. It's incredibly tough. Bob Swagger, who I played for last season in Hershey, maybe has one of the best attitudes and mindset to it all. He doesn't take anything too seriously, and he just desperately tries to not have anybody else worry about anything. He tries to take care of it, uses his AGMs when he needs to, but he, he keeps everything close to the vest. He doesn't show his cards, and he makes it so everyone on his team can just go out and play. And hopefully we find more people like that as GMs in the AHL.
You know, it's funny because Loops and Bob Swagger have been apparently rivals on Xbox for a long time. Loops always tried to match himself up against any game Bob Swagger was in. And there was also a bit of rivalry with Mafia Man as well. And I'd say they're fairly similar GMs as far as skill of the role, but it sounds to me that Bob Swagger might be a little more of a positive style player or GM, whereas Loops needed me to take out the positivity for him, because I know that he was definitely one for being fairly negative in a game that wasn't going our way.
You know what? But apparently, he had guys on your team last season that were able to work with it. I mean, as a team, you guys were able to work with whatever you had to. I think Loops is probably, after the season, I think he's probably much more appreciative, if he wasn't already, of the team he had last season. I don't know if he had any kind of issues with anybody, but he just not only had a lot of talent, but had guys who were more than happy to do what they could to help out the team in any way, shape, or form. And that's important. I mean, you gotta have your team be able to be ready and chip in where they need to, no matter how good you're playing. And sometimes your team's playing really good, and your players will get an attitude about it. And I think it's just. I just think you had a good combination of good talent and just good people in general on your team last season.
Yeah, we really did, and it was a lot harder to work with it this season. I mean, not only was our cap a lot heavier because of all the re-signs, we had to re-sign players like User Pick for, I forget what it's called there, when they go into that secret bidding, and then their salary gets jacked up. And that happened to Trash Clown as well, and we lost them due to it. And then, we were losing players to the lost players to the NHL, and then people don't want to trade against Stockton because they're the ex-winners. So it's just,
right.
It can be tough to manage a team when the league's against you, as opposed to where he was so free to do what he wanted in that first season.
Well, Springfield trying again. They've opened up the matchup here. And, talk in the box here is they want Kepler to host, but he's streaming, and people want him to stop streaming so he can host the game, which I understand that is the priority. If that happens and we don't have a stream, then folks, I don't know what to tell you, but Kepler's the only one who's streaming right now from what we can see. For whatever reason, Domi's saying that he can't get in, so I'm not sure why that's the case. Would you prefer to have? I know that the Moose are not hosting this game, but do you put the captain on Domi then? I mean, does it make any difference?
I don't really know. People say it does. People say, the guy who can't connect, make him host. And I don't know if it even makes a difference, because it all comes down to who the host is on the home team. Because it's the whole connection syncs up to them. But
yeah,
I don't know if that's just some theory that people think works, or if it really does.
Well,
does Domi have a good connection himself, though?
Yeah, without question. If there's one thing I've learned about this game, being in this league, is talking to guys like Brody and and others who are part of LG, who are also game changers for EA, is that there are a ton of theories from people in LG that are absolutely incorrect. I mean, there's a ton of stuff that people think is going on that just is not possible the way the game is built. So, just really weird. And as you see, they pop in now, and Domi seems to be okay. We'll see how long that lasts. Hopefully, we're not going to midnight for this one. Everyone's in there. Just waiting for a Nylander to ready up and get this game going. Still like to know more about what exactly, what exactly is the situation with connections from EA themselves. I mean, obviously, their servers, their code that does all this, and I think there's a lot of speculation on all of our parts. But what the reality is, I don't know. I think we probably need to dig into that a little bit more at some point.
It's like we're finally going here. That's exciting.
Gonna let the play-by-play guys do play-by-play for this one. There's no party audio, so we'll listen to Doc and Eddie, and you and I will just comment when needed.
Winnipeg's got the puck, and they get to make the first play. And so here comes
Maybe
the
have to
whistle
turn
for
on.
icing. All is halted for now. Time for rest.
Say that again?
Maybe I had to turn on my audio.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't hear it from me, so.
No, I watch it through my.
Heads on behind. The puck is fielded now by Pula. Oh, and it's
Those
off
look
the
like
mark.
the Thunderbird have some good pressure here. Definitely the warmer team.
Referee over
And they start off just the way they played last game, with a nice penalty.
Field's got a minor penalty here for interference. And so begins power play number 1. Let's see if it's power play goal number 1.
Here's a way to create some momentum in a game.
Eddie, I'm with you on that. Power play beginning. Our reputation.
Nice forecheck there. Go Hawks, certainly motivator right now at this point. He's forechecking. He's all over the ice.
Drops it to the opposite corner. Now it's directed to Pietrangelo. Gets in, and he'll look over his options. Goes right through him. The Thunderbirds.
Right now, Go Hawks seems possessed. Picks it up again, trying to just get a puck on the net. Just wonder if last game has gotten some of these guys to be a little emotional.
As they travel through center ice. The Thunderbirds have killed it all. Swatted further by Yossi. Lets a shot go.
No real good opportunities on the power play for the Moose.
Pitching this one to Yossi. The Thunderbirds controlling play now through the neutral zone. Boy, what reaction. He's got it again. Good work by Kane. Snapped it off.
Oof.
Didn't miss by much.
So close to that post with that shot.
Mooseheads start the rush up.
Gotta say, even though Domi hasn't let anything in, it still seems kind of shaky.
Sets up shot. Poke checked away by Yossi. Good shooting play.
Oh, nice tip.
Oof.
Bossy. Some shots, only one goal.
A lot of opportunities. Love the mindset of getting pucks. And
Looked like that was Lewis in front with the tip in.
Seized by Mietin. Winnipeg's lugging it along in the defensive zone.
These are the two D-men they used for Game 7, eh? Pitcher and Beal.
Yeah.
or be hit.
Cleared down the ice from the defensive side of the center red line, and let's check our rules. Yes, it's icing. Over 9 minutes played in the first. The Mooseheads lead 1-0. Good job tying the man up on the faceoff. Teammate comes in. Seeks the corner.
Looked like Beal had an assist on that one as well.
Pointed to Jack. Turned aside off the pad. Pass off the woodwork to Yossi. Good intercept.
The Mooseheads have forced another turnover, Doc. They've done a real nice job in that category in this close game.
Springfield's in control of the puck up the wing. Speared along by Jack. To Petrangelo.
Moose definitely looked like a much different team in this game. Obviously, a full different forward line that knows how to play with each other. But the energy, I mean, you could just see it. It's noticeable. It's very different on the ice now.
The funny thing too is I don't think they're playing very well for their line. Yet it's still
Good.
much better play than last game.
The Mooseheads with a face-off win. Turned away.
Hopefully we'll stay on the air here as a bad thunderstorm is moving in here where I am. So if you lose us, you'll know why.
Winnipeg's lugging it along in their own end.
Getting down to the 4-minute mark here in the first period, and Thunderbird, good opportunity. Domi, nice save. He does look a little better. Made a nice save a little bit earlier on a glove side shot.
Gathered up again by Poulan.
He just needs to be reactive to the wraps. I know you got to figure Springfield is going to be looking to that. They know that he was susceptible last game. He's probably a little shaky. Get pucks on net. Any goaltender gets shaky, you want to shoot on him.
Oh yeah, you know that more than anyone.
Oh. And there he's protecting the post. A little better than he did last game.
It's funny because even like you said, even the best goaltenders fall apart. One of the goalies that I know was most susceptible to that was Flyers last year. Great goaltender, could stand on his head, score a goal too early on him, and he just falls apart.
Definitely bad goals. I mean, that first goal Domi gave up in the last game, that will throw you off the entire game. I don't care how early in the game it happens. I don't care if you then go up 4-1 after that. That goaltender is going to think about that goal the entire game.
Oh, yeah.
And they throw one right on that end of the period. Obviously, ML wants to get one on net, but Domi definitely looks like he is a lot more attentive to what's going on the ice, and so he's playing a much better game at this point.
Bossy's goal has put his team ahead, for at least now. Will it stand up? We go to break.
What a tip in there. Bacon was in position. It's just one of those things where a tip in and all of a sudden the puck is bouncing through the 5-hole and position whatever. Kepler showing us his his ping at 35. Not great, but not awful.
I've played big games with higher ping, but it's never fun.
Yeah, certainly not. I mean, I have good connection. I'm lucky. Mine's always right down there in the high single digits, so it's never a problem for me. But a lot of guys struggle with this, and these servers are not forgiving.
High single digits, you're lucky.
Yeah, I might hit 10, 11 once in a while.
I'm lucky if I'm sitting at 20, 15, 20.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm not leaving Verizon Fios, just for that reason. I'm not going to Comcast at this point until they get better.
Play to be made now by Poulan.
Definitely a different style of game in this one. It's certainly the plays are a lot more metered, and obviously the idea of knowing where everybody is a lot better. I think even Springfield's front line is playing better. Eh? Sometimes even the sporadic play of another team could be a problem. And now, power play.
A penalty. That's a bum penalty.
He was
What do they
playing
call
the puck.
that? Charging, probably?
Boarding, they call it. Yep.
Wow. I think that's cheesy.
Lewis controlling. Puck is loose in front. Good save by Bacon. Is able to get back over. And another good save to keep a short side floater out. Good pass up front to Wall. He's controlling. Moose are good to come back and help out defensively.
Snapping a pass to Kane. Just got his pass.
Bacon has to play that.
Rubbed out along the boards.
Good thing it wasn't
Foot along
Domi.
the boards, that's bound. The Thunderbirds are back even. Winnipeg's got it in the defensive
Not able to do
zone.
anything with that power play, and
Poke check.
the Moose just struggling on trying to do anything with the power play so far in this series.
Can rest.
You know, I gotta give credit. Like, we've just been saying the Moose have been struggling with the power play, but you got to give some credit to the Thunderbirds.
Good breakaway opportunity for Go Hawks, and Bacon just could not get back to his left. And now it is a 2-0 Moose lead.
In this game, they might make it 3 fast.
I think the Thunderbirds are better shorthanded than they are even strength.
Possession gone. The Thunderbirds setting things up in their own end. Oh, bad giveaway there.
The Mooseheads force another turnover in this game. Let's see what they can do with it.
Nice pass right up the gut. And play stopped because of an offside. We have pass.
Tempo is really where
Winnipeg's lead on
the Moose want this. As long as Domi continues to play well in this game and put number 3 behind him, he could backstop them to a win here.
Crane left and then right.
Halfway, well more than halfway through the second. Good opportunity in front. Not a good enough play by ML to get a shot on net, but Domi was there to block anything.
Tied up, but a good reach and a good step in there for possession. Pitching it to Bossy. Now the puck rounded up by Mietin. Takes his shot.
Good snapper. Domi there with the glove.
And the guy with the trapper won. Clean win on the draw. High by the defense.
Almost a really nice play there by Stanley to keep it in.
The puck taken over by Mietin.
And now they still hold on to it.
Blue line control. One-timer.
Nice play.
Wow.
Back to within one.
Wall with a great opportunity there. He put it the other way as well.
Gotten themselves back into this
That might be the nicest play I've seen Springfield execute this entire series.
Nabbed by Jack. The Mooseheads up the wing, locked the puck. Wonderful save. It didn't look like he had a thing to shoot at.
Bacon playing that corner well. T-Birds able to get one on the board here, down 2-1.
The Thunderbirds with a clean.
Obviously this one's going quicker, a lot less stoppages of play, but then again, there was 15, 16 penalties last game.
Yeah.
Moved along and in. And the loose puck captured by Kane. Possession taken up by Mietin. Slot shot. Great save. Point blank.
Boy, are they really trying to get Domi to move. He's been playing a lot quieter in net in this game, and that's definitely been a big difference.
Directing that one to Kane. That plays offside, and so back to center ice for the faceoff. Hey Ray, what's going on down
You know, I don't know how most forwards play, but I'd imagine playing as a forward versus a goalie, a lot of the times where you shoot is mental. You know, what is the goalie gonna do over what I do as a defenseman? I just shoot.
Possession established. Good
But, you
reach
know,
there.
I look for open lanes from players or high percentage where I've scored from in the past.
Stabs the wrist shot.
They're really playing mental versus Domi here.
A penalty coming up.
Another penalty coming up on the Moose, and now,
Penalty call.
while there's almost no time left on the clock here, there will be a power play for most part of 2 minutes. Good quick shot there, but a block in front stops it.
Played in this contest.
And
Everyone gets
Springfield
just for a moment.
still within reach, still needing to tie this up. That Game 3 victory now starting to look a little more important.
Has made a
Keep them in this one.
His team has gotten the goals, and he is
No, Vibes was talking about kind of doing the same thing tomorrow with the same lines for 5 and 6. And it could be interesting if they can win this game tonight. maybe you hold off. Maybe you hold the Go Hawks, Nylander, Lewis line for Game 6 instead of pushing them out for Game 5, unless he wants to close it out. If he can win this one.
You know, it's a tough decision because you obviously want to close out in 5. You don't want to be like, let's rely on these guys. But at the same time, it's smart to do that because you know that the team has to throw out their next best line just to survive, right?
Right.
And any smart team will throw out their best line Game 5 than Game 6 when you're behind.
But one lucky shift or one lucky bounce, they're right back in it.
They've got the draw. Lets the shot fly. Solid glove save.
Another good save by Domi. Definitely playing a much better game this one. Just getting underway here in the third. As you see, 4-on-4. Should open up the ice a little bit for at least a couple of rushes.
On that face-off, tying the man up. A terrific shot block.
That is going to be an icing.
And it's an icing. The draw to tie up, and his team prevails.
Definitely looking to get it back to pitcher, who's got a good release on his shot from the point. But it's been blocked twice now in a row. Another penalty, and it's going to be a 4-on-3, at least for minute 7. So that should open it up even more for the Moose. Good shot, good save, and Go Hawks not able to follow up and pound it home. Good opportunity, though.
And another strong save. Winnipeg
Nice play there by Domi.
moving it on up the wing. Loose puck due to the play by Yossi. Flings it. Wonderful stop. Broke it up well with the poke check.
Oh,
Puck taken hold up by
cross-eyes pass, but Lewis could not get it off in time.
Slides it to the point to Miettinen. The Thunder
Good save by Domi and covers up, but then puts it back out again.
perfect.
Dangerous play.
And the linesmen were watching very carefully. That is an offside. Bossy's come around with his stick.
That play would make Paul Bunyan even smile. Both guys are still angry, but that fight's not going to happen now.
Just under 4 minutes off the clock. And it is 2-1 the score in this one. Moving it now up the wing. And he dumps it in. Taken toward the neutral zone. The Thunderbirds wheel one ahead up the wing. The Jack looking to Bossy. Takes that pass up the boards. Taken behind by Kane.
Ooh, good shot. Good save by Bacon.
Developing play right.
Go Hawks trying to do a stop and wrap. Gets it out front, but
Bumped off balance.
the shot, good save by Bacon. Just got into position there.
By Kane. Nice fake, shakes him loose. Kane's been
Oh.
caught with the physical play.
Heck of a shot there by Wall on Hawks.
Good place to shoot from. That's turned aside. Freezes.
Go Hawks coming back, helping out on defense now at this point. Almost halfway through the third, and with a 1-goal lead, when you can, you got to help out.
The Moose heads with a face-off win.
Yeah, you know, for a game that looks like the Moose, you know what? The Moose really haven't dominated it as much as I expect them to.
Terrific glove save. Bossy's
No, and thankfully for them, Domi's played a damn good game.
chance to operate. Hasn't been effective yet. The Moose heads with a clean win on the draw. Good save.
Cool. And that's almost the same kind of goal that went in on Domi. Again, just hitting the stick, almost rolling up on it and past Bacon, but he's able to push it aside.
One-timer. Blocked.
Oh, nice save.
The Moose heads in their own end have control of the puck. And it's cleared out of there. Nice work by Skilly.
Oh,
Nice save.
wow.
With this puck being so
Both
close,
goaltenders do not want to make a mistake now, and they're playing like it.
Great move. Fires. Oh, that one hit someone on the way. And
Whoa.
hard one there.
What an amazing play. And now way out of out of position is Domi, but he gets back in.
Picked up by Mietzen. Winnipeg's in their own end, moving the puck.
I feel like I'm watching a real NHL game because the use of the point and the movement of the puck has been tremendous this period.
Yeah, this has been the best game we've seen this series for sure. Not just as far as, well, definitely skill level. Everyone's playing their game right now.
Domi just making save after save. He is keeping them at 1 goal. Now you're going to see the Thunderbird call a timeout here without question. But, you know, it's as much as, you know, we were wondering what Domi would do coming back in this game, he is determined to play his best game that he can. And he is doing it right now. This is easily the best I've seen him play in net.
Yeah, Domi's definitely playing a good game, and on the other end, you also have Bacon, who stepped up, giving his team the best chance possible to tie this up.
Yeah, some amazing goaltending, and both of these lines, you know, they're damn good, and it's a 2-1 game at this point.
Springfield's lugging it along in their own end, shifting gears. It's dumped in. Puck loose, good defensive play. Now it's directed to Skilly.
It's interesting to see how far back GoHawks is coming to help out.
Springfield's up the wing, settling things. Corralled by Poulan. One-timer.
Another good save. Domi getting across the crease, making a nice save there, and other team taking a timeout now. What?
Moses has been under siege almost the entire night, but he has stopped just about everything thrown his way. His team's leading this game as a result of his brilliant play and some timely goals.
Pressing on with it up the wing. Oh, and it's a penalty coming. We are in the last minute. Poke checked away by Poulan. And we get a penalty here.
I'd almost say that's a bad penalty from the Birds, but no, it's been a really weird game and 2 last games, so who knows what can happen.
Maybe that'll change with this.
We're still waiting to see our first power play goal after all of these penalties.
I understand, Eddie, the numbers don't lie, but perhaps this one can make a difference. Gathered in by Poulan.
Last 30 here.
Mooseheads in their own end setting things up.
Kepler being in the box, not incredibly helpful at this point.
Jesus. You know, for being on the penalty kill, these guys have been quite aggressive. Quite effectively aggressive.
And they take that neutral zone face-off, and the heat's taken off by the clear.
Winnipeg's decision-making as of late has been perfect. That's another good play.
Last few seconds as the Moose are trying to just kill some time here. Puck is shot on. Nice save by Bacon, but the clock runs out, and the Moose are able to hold on to this one. Good goaltending, really good goaltending on both sides, but Domi shook off Game 3 and came back and played a fantastic Game 4 and may very well be the player of the game in this one. Just tremendous play by Domi in this, and I tell you what, it was you know, a much cleaner game than we saw in Game 3, but without question, the play was a lot better, and the goaltending stepped up to meet it, quite honestly.
Yeah, every single player in that game played 2 or 3 notches better than the last game on both sides of the ice. So it was definitely, in my opinion, a much more enjoyable game to watch, much more fast-paced, and this is Calder Cup hockey right here.
Again, the 2-1 final in this one, and it was a goal by Lewis, who started off for the Moose to put them up 1-0 in the first period with Beal on the assist. And then the second period, the Moose getting up 2-1 from Go Hawks on a nice play. Wall brought the T-Birds to 2-1 at 13:56 of the second, but that was the end of the scoring, and the goaltenders, the goals that they did let up were really good opportunities. These guys just played amazing goalie in both nets, and Bacon's had this kind of game in him. He's played plenty of them. He played a tremendous game tonight, but unfortunately for the Thunderbirds, Domi was just that much better.
Yeah, it's funny that too. They're just posting Domi's goal let in that last game, and you got to think a player like that, it might have affected him last game, but he took it to heart and really stepped up this game. And I think you're right about him being maybe number one star of that game. He made some incredible saves and definitely kept the Moose in that really tight game.
He had over 1,000 MS for both games.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, he was just tremendous in this game. In this game 4, he was playing out of his mind. I mean, he got out of position a couple of times pretty badly, but got himself back in, and just made some incredible saves and was just steady in the net. He was trying not to be overly aggressive, and he did a heck of a job doing that for most of the game.
Yeah, he was pretty good. I mean, I had to. It's funny, man. Like I get so like wrapped up into this shit sometimes. I had to actually like switch back and forth. Like I was watching it at times, I wasn't watching it at other times, and you gotta credit the T-Birds as well for having a good game. But Domi was he was phenomenal. He really was.
A 3-1. I'm sorry, go ahead, Biggs.
The T-Birds, it's funny that they played their better game in this game and weren't awarded with a win.
Yeah,
the T-Birds were much better in this game than they were the previous game. But I'm just reading through the Skype, not the Skype, the Shoutbox, and Al Delusion is what I'm going to call him from now on. But Al the Wall is absolutely delusional. He thinks that he outplayed my line. Definitely didn't outplay my line. I mean, you had a few chances. You were definitely better in the game you lost than the game you won. But you're delusional if you think you outplayed them.
It was a tight game. It was honestly really anyone's game. But your team got the lead. Domi shut down anything else that came your way. So deciding factor really was Domi. And I hate to say it.
Game 3, definitely, having to play with a couple of ECUs in that one vibes. A playmaker in John Bond, who, still played fairly well, but obviously chemistry getting messed up there. And the hat trick by Wall in that first game, leading the Thunderbirds to a 5-3 victory. But in this latter game, Game 4, just a situation where the play of the game was a lot better, a lot more consistent. And I think that kind of helps the goaltenders when they see a pattern of play. And I think both teams were doing a hell of a job moving the puck around. It's a lot easier for a goaltender to focus when the play is moving and you have to really force yourself to pay really close attention. I think that might have helped Domi out a bit tonight in this Game 4.
Yeah, you might be onto something there. I could definitely see that point.
And just better defensive game by both teams. Certainly, the Thunderbirds not taking all those tripping penalties like they did the first game. It's amazing how they survived that. But now you're up 3-1 in this series, and you had posted your lines ahead of time, and what you were doing for 3 and 4, you were going to do for 5 and 6. You still thinking that way, or you think you might put the same line out in Game 4 for Game 5 to try and wrap it up?
No, I'm going to stick with the same exact plan that we have, and let them make the decision on who they want to go up against. With a little bit of luck, Timmy will actually show up. When Timmy shows up and it's Timmy, Sussman, and Mafia, that line is 90 million times better. You could make the argument that they're better than the Go Hawks line, depending on how you see it. They're both really good lines. And I will say this. When we were up 2-0, I said that, it's still anyone's ball game and anything can happen. And that still applies. But the T-Birds are in bigger trouble tonight than they were last night. Tonight, you're officially in trouble. You've exhausted your better defense. You've exhausted your better forwards. And you have 2 lines that I don't know. So you're in trouble tonight. Tonight, you're in trouble. Well, and you're also assholes for not switching the connection.
I don't disagree with you that way at all. I think Biggs and I kind of said that in the pregame. You absolutely have to win the first one because you're gonna have a hard time winning number 4. But if you don't come away with 2 wins, you've got a tremendous hill to climb against a team that has been on the other side trying to climb back up to the top of the hill. Now, you guys are at the top. And Springfield is in a position now where they haven't been in this playoff, where they need to dig deeper and find something else that's going to put them over the top and lead them to 3 victories in a row, and 2 of them needing to come tomorrow night. That's it is almost insurmountable.
Yeah, you got games 5, 6, and 7, and you can't lose a single game. So
I will correct you, though, Vibes, that they still have one use for their top defensive pair.
Yeah, they have Kepler, right, for one more game?
They still have Kepler, Ajax for another game, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but,
You have to be expecting to see those guys out in game 5.
5, yeah, it has to be 5. I mean, I feel like, but here's the thing, Biggie, and I don't want to take shots at Ice Block, because he has gotten his team to the final, so I don't really want to, take, shots at him. But he's, how can I say in a nice way? He's a very unpredictable GM, but I mean, I guess I am too, so. You would think that he would counter this with his absolute best in Game 5. But he may not. So,
we'll
see.
The thing is it's an all or nothing, right? Do you take the chance to win Game 5 and suicide Game 6? Yes. Or do you suicide Game 5 to have a better chance to take Game 6 to Game 7?
Imagine not playing your best in Game 5 and losing the series with your best players on the rack. That's how I look at it.
No, I look at it that way too.
Whether he does or he doesn't, I don't know, so it's really hard. I mean, I guess I have last change anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I would assume that it's going to be his absolute best in Game 5 and then his, whoever is in Game 6. But we'll see what he does.
You anticipating any issues tomorrow, or do you think you've gotten this ironed out for the lineups tomorrow?
I am worried about Timmy because he was kind of on the ropes and he didn't show up he didn't want to play Game 7 last series, and he didn't show up tonight, and I worry about his status for Game 5.
And through all this, you still have a 3-1 lead in this series, despite all the trials and tribulations. It's pretty remarkable that you're still able to not only put out a competitive team, but be leading the series.
Yeah, Sibs, I'd be a liar if I told you there wasn't times throughout the season and even through the playoffs and, that I've wanted to absolutely just, explode from the inside out and just, rip my own eyeballs out. It's, I don't know, I guess I have a pretty good wherewithal about me, and I just keep on going, and, I believe in my team, and I believe in this motley crew that we have, and, I love my team. I love them fucking despite the fact they're all a bunch of fucking morons and, crazy shit lunatics, but they're my lunatics, you know what I mean? And I really want to get this cup.
What do you, what's the key tomorrow? Is it taking Game 5 and getting it over with, or just continuing to try and play your game no matter what game it is? What's the main thing you're trying to get across to your guys?
To just keep it together and not kill ourselves, and try to make sure that Timmy's going to show up, and because he'll give us the best chance of winning that game, and just try to keep it together and not beat ourselves, because we have 3 opportunities to win 1 game. So all we got to do is win 1 game. Don't matter if it's in Game 5. It don't matter if it's in Game 6. It don't matter if it's in Game 7. All we got to do is win 1 game, and we got 3 chances to do it. And if they pull out a game in Game 5, or even 2 and 5 and 6, nobody wants to be in a be all end all Game 7. But if it so happens, it's just another chance we have to win, and I think we'll get it done.
I know you're not trying to think about a Game 7, but your opportunities for a lineup for that one have probably dwindled a little bit. If you're having this much of an issue with one of your lines, I got to believe there's not much of an opportunity for selection here.
That that Game 7 will be assuming GoHawks and Mafia and Nylander are all here. That'll be your forward group, and your defense will be the defense that was out tonight. Hopefully we can avoid that and never have to get to that bridge. But if we do stumble upon that bridge, we'll cross it once we get there.
I have a lot more faith in this Thunderbirds Game 7 lineup than I originally gave them credit for. But I will still give the edge to your team if it comes to a Game 7 to have the advantage, just because the spice factor of Mafia, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to agree. Yeah, he's right. He's basically hit it on the head that maybe the TBirds Game 7 lineup would be a little bit better. But you have to wonder what the Game 7 lineup would be. I mean, if you would ask me, watching the 3 lines, I would, I originally said that we beat their absolute number 1 line in Game 1. Whether it be connection or whatever the case may be, it's really irrelevant. But I would say that this MLN line is probably right there with it, maybe even better than it. I really don't know, but I was actually kind of impressed by the Springfield line that they threw out tonight.
I'm pretty sure that this is their top line, and if it isn't, I'd be shocked.
Yeah, I would say Jance the dude is probably their best player, but this might be their best line. So they certainly played like it, that's for sure.
Well, that might be their spice factor then. You don't know. Maybe he plays well with the I don't know who you take out of that line though. MLN. Who's their center?
Stanley's Cup.
Stanley, yep.
Right. He's definitely got experience. And do you take I don't think you can split up those 3 and all the wall, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Al. Yeah, I would think you unless you've got guys who have played with each other before but aren't on a line together now, who have some experience. It's typically not what you would do. Now, it's worked for Vibes, and now Go Hawks, Nylander, and Mafia know each other enough that that they could play a game together, and I don't think it matters how many they have or haven't played. I think they know how to play the game with each other, even with just a game or two together. And I don't know if that would work for Springfield, breaking up lines and putting a super line together.
Yeah, I mean, the Moose has the luxury of having a player like Mafia Man who can just fit into any line. He adapts to any, I wouldn't say any play style, but he'll adapt to a play style quickly. Plus, Go Hawks and Nylander play similar style to what Mafia would be used to. They're all worthy of playing in the NHL, and they do play similar to a lot of NHL players. So, I mean, it's pretty smooth for them to play together, even if they don't ever do so. And I agree. I don't think Springfield has that kind of talent or that kind of gift from their players to be have such a high hockey sense combined with the skill to just let players mold together in just one game. They kind of have to have already pre-built chemistry.
If you would ask me, and this is consider this a freebie, ice block and T-Birds and whatever else is going on over there. This is a freebie for you guys. If it was me in a game 7, I would, and I was a T-Birds, I would not do anything like that. I would not try to change a piece out on that line and do like a Jansa dude, surrounded by Al the Wall and MLN, because if you were to ask me, I think that they get their strength from chemistry and from playing together. I just don't see it working as well for them. So I wouldn't do anything like that. But hey, it's your call if you get that far.
I don't think you can take Stanley out of that line. Out of those 3 players, he's the only one who's already won a cup. He's got the most experience in this situation too. So how do you take him out of a game 7?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think I think Al has made good chemistry with the other 2, but I think MLN and Stanley are the guys who have had good chemistry with each other all season long. And yeah, if you're going to go with any part of that line, I think you have to go with all of it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Well, we'll see if we even get to a Game 7. I'm not sure that's in the cards just yet. A little premature talking about it, but always fun to talk about it. Again, Game 3 tonight, it was a 5-3 victory for Springfield, getting their first win in the series, but it was a very solid defensive game. Great goaltending by Bacon and by Domi, and the Moose able to come away with a 2-1 victory and taking a 3-1 lead in this best of 7 series. And games 5 at least tomorrow and possibly a game 6 are on their way. Just to give you some numbers, Domi actually in both these games, I believe, faced 20 shots, 19 saves in game 4 for Domi. Bacon 12 out of 14, so both of them getting some work, and Domi definitely, I knew he was up there close to a 20 or around there. Certainly got his work in today. But good game by the Moose. Nylander with a goal, Go Hawks an assist. Go Hawks playing some tremendous defensive play tonight. And, if you don't give Domi the first star, to me it would be Go Hawks, just because he made things work. He absolutely helped tremendously on defense, stopped a lot of second opportunities, and kept the puck away from Domi as much as he could. And Go Hawks just played a complete game in this one.
If you asked me, Go Hawks would be the player of that game, despite the performance that Domi had. Go Hawks was just, he's everything to that line. Let's just be honest. He's everything to that line. And really, when you look at the team, I can't even talk about what he is to this team. He gets a lot of shit in the shout box, and, he's got a stupid mouth, but at the end of the day, he is arguably the most important piece on the team, if you would ask me. Him, Mafia Man, and
Timmy.
a few of the other guys, Timmy and Nyland. Well, there's a lot of really important pieces. Domi, the two defensemen, Beal and pitcher. It's just there's a lot of important pieces, so it's hard to even say. But the point being is that Go Hawks is very, very important.
Like I said before, though, center's such an important role, and that you need a player like that there. You can't be throwing playmaker out on center and expecting to win a game.
And something about Go Hawks, and I swear to you, before this season and in previous season, he was a awful defensive center. Awful. Dare I say he's one of the best two-way centers in the league. Maybe the best. He might be the best.
No, I'll argue that one.
Maybe might be.
Okay, that's fine. I'll let you say maybe, but I'll still say user picks the best.
Well, he'd be another one. User and Paulie are pretty good as well.
Game 5 tomorrow night. We'll be on again 9:15 with the pregame, and if there is a Game 6 again, we'll stay and cover that for you as well. Any final thoughts about Game 5 tomorrow night, Biggs?
Well, if we see what we're expecting tomorrow night, the Thunderbirds still have 2 big games ahead of them. Well, 3 big games ahead of them, but for Game 5, they better be bringing their A game, because if Timmy shows up, this is not going to be an easy win like it was for Game 3 tonight. So they better show up, get ready to play some smart hockey, and show us that they deserve to be here. Show us that they don't want to lose it in 5 games.
Vibes?
I have a last thing to say.
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah.
I would just say that with everything that went on tonight, the fact that you did win the first game, T-Birds, you're in the exact same spot, only we've moved closer to your season being over. I've been all about sportsmanship this entire playoffs, and I've been pretty good, and so on and so forth. But shame on you for trying to make your connection win a game for you, because that's what you did. So shame on you for not switching. It was a real shitty move.
And that's the final thought from Vibes as we finally close this broadcast out 2+ hours later. We hope you enjoyed Games 3 and 4 tonight. Vibes, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Still got beat, fuckers.
So you should mention that Columbus Blue Jackets are 1 minute away from winning the Stanley Cup.
We'll switch over.
Go Columbus.
Switch over and take a look at that on the LG site, folks. Thanks a lot, Biggs. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. TSibs saying so long. Again, final score in Game 3, it was 5-3 Thunderbirds. For the Moose, come back in Game 4, take it 2-1, and now lead the best of 7, 3-1. Again, thanks a lot for joining us tonight. You've been watching the AHLPSN Calder Cup Finals, LeagueGaming.com, and the YouTube channel. It's the 2017 Calder Cup Playoffs. More games tomorrow night. Again, pregame will be 9:15 as the Moose and the Thunderbirds go at it again. T-Sib saying so long. Talk to you tomorrow night.